Hi, it's Nishi. Hope you had a really good day. And today I want to talk about yesterday's budget that came out. So, the budget for autumn 2023. There's a lot of discussion about how it's a good budget for small business, and I really just want to go into explaining what the changes are and whether or not they actually are good for small business. Okay, well, firstly, employees they pay less national insurance now. They pay 2% less on their employees' national insurance. That's really good for them. Maybe as a small business, it also reduces the pressure on you to have to give them as much in pay rises to keep up with the cost of living. So potentially there is an impact on you through that. Your average employee is going to save about £450 a year, potentially. So that's that. But also, if you're working as a sole trader or a self-employed person, it means you're going to not have to pay any Class 2 national insurance anymore, although you'll still be able to qualify for your state pension. And then your Class 4 national insurance rate is going from 9% to 8%, which means you've got a reduction there. So overall, the reduction is around 2% anyway if you're self-employed. The next thing it's worth really noting about this budget, and probably the most substantial thing which the government is using to really explain how good this budget is for small businesses, well, not for small businesses, they just say business, and that's the key thing. It's not good for small businesses at all. So they keep talking about full expensing, how there was something in place before called full expensing, and it was available until 2026. Well, the government's decided to make that permanent. So, but the key thing to understand here is if you're a small business owner and you buy a bit of equipment, you don't use full expensing at all. You use something called the annual investment allowance, because the terms under the annual investment allowance are a lot better than full expensing. And the thing is, every tax year or every company year that you're working, you can claim up to £1 million of annual investment allowance on equipment and capital expenditure that you actually buy. So the only time as a small business owner that full expensing will be valuable to you, that is after 2026 when it would have been there anyway, is if you spend more than £1 million on equipment or capital expenditure in any particular year and you run out of annual investment allowance, then you can switch over to your full expensing. But actually, what are the chances of you doing that as a business owner? Couple of other things to maybe factor in is just think about the national minimum wage rates and the living wage rate. The living wage has changed. From what I understand, national minimum wage hasn't. But actually, one thing to factor in is a lot of the bands in terms of the age bands have. So what you might find is, especially if you've got a young team, you might find that if some of them were being paid minimum wage before, you just got to look at the new bands for the national minimum wage and make sure, however old your member of the team is, that they fall within the right band and get the right minimum wage. There's a few other little things. The government did give a little bit more clarity on making tax digital for income tax, and essentially they've talked about actually having a threshold below which you don't actually have to enroll for it. So if you're like a property landlord, or if you've got like a small amount of sole trader income and you're worried about having to file quarterly tax returns, well, this exemption for lower earners it will be coming in place. So it means that you don't have to sign up for making tax digital. And there's a little bit of information about the dual taxation of IR35. So people in the past, where they've been caught out by IR35, they would often have to pay extortionate and punitive amounts of tax, which wouldn't factor in that they'd already paid some tax. So people were getting taxed twice, essentially. So now the government's fixed that. Overall, that's all that's really going on in this budget. I haven't seen anything that will directly impact a small business owner. If you have, why not comment or reach out to me and let me know. And I'll see you at the next video.